You are not meant to live trapped in survival. Your energy is shifting toward wealth and freedom, and your new era is beginning now. Take a deep breath, and for a moment, allow yourself to imagine a life that does not feel heavy anymore. A life where you are not constantly rushing, not constantly worrying, not constantly waiting for something outside of you to give you permission to feel free. Because freedom is not only a place you arrive one day. Freedom is an energy you begin choosing inside yourself. And right now, your energy is beginning to change. You are entering a new relationship with money, a new relationship with abundance, a new relationship with the life you are allowed to build for yourself. You are no longer meant to see money as something distant. You are no longer meant to see freedom as something impossible. You are no longer meant to live inside a reality where survival is the only story. Something inside you is rising beyond that old identity now. Take another deep breath and allow your body to soften around the idea of having more space, more choice, more money, more peace, more movement, more control over your own life. You are allowed to want freedom. You are allowed to want wealth. You are allowed to want a life that feels beautiful, spacious, and fully yours. There is nothing wrong with wanting more from life. There is nothing wrong with desiring abundance. There is nothing wrong with becoming someone who no longer accepts limitation as normal. Your desire for more is not greed. It is expansion. It is your spirit recognizing that your life was never meant to be lived only inside pressure. You were not created to spend your entire life shrinking around fear. You were not created to keep choosing smallness because it feels familiar. You are here to expand. You are here to rise. You are here to build a reality where your energy can breathe. And wealth is part of that expansion. Money is not separate from your freedom. Money can become a tool for choice, a tool for space, a tool for safety, a tool for movement, a tool for creating the life that feels aligned with who you are becoming. You are allowed to let money support your life. You are allowed to let abundance feel natural. You are allowed to become comfortable with receiving more than before. Because the old version of you may have learned to associate money with stress, with fear, with control, with pressure, with uncertainty. But that old relationship is changing now. You are becoming someone who can hold wealth with calm energy. Someone who can receive money without guilt. Someone who can grow financially without losing softness, clarity, or inner peace. Someone who understands that abundance can be safe. Take a slow breath and let these words settle inside of you. You are safe to receive more money. You are safe to live with more freedom. You are safe to become financially powerful. You are safe to build a life that belongs to you. You are safe to rise into wealth with peace. Your relationship with money is healing now. Your energy is opening to abundance now. Your life is becoming more spacious now. You are entering your wealth and freedom era now. Let that become real inside your mind. Your wealth and freedom era. A season where you stop living only from survival. A season where you begin to make choices from power. A season where you no longer apologize for wanting a life that feels bigger than what you came from. You are allowed to outgrow the version of yourself that was always trying to make everything work with limited energy. You are allowed to outgrow the identity that believed money was always difficult. You are allowed to outgrow the fear that told you freedom was for other people. Because freedom is becoming part of your reality now. Not only someday, not only far away, not only after everything is perfect. Freedom begins in the way you see yourself today. You begin to move like someone who has options. You begin to think like someone who can create solutions. You begin to choose like someone whose life belongs to them. And slowly, your outer reality begins responding to that inner shift. Opportunities begin to feel more visible. Ideas begin to feel more powerful. Your standards begin to rise. Your relationship with your own potential begins to deepen. You stop asking life for permission to become more, and you begin stepping into the identity of someone who knows they are allowed to create more. You are allowed to create wealth. You are allowed to create freedom. You are allowed to create a life that feels calm, beautiful, expansive, and deeply aligned. Take another deep breath and release the belief that money must always come through exhaustion. You are allowed to make money through clarity, through creativity, through intelligence, through aligned action, through opportunities that respect your energy, through systems that support your freedom, through work that reflects your growth. You are allowed to receive money in ways that feel lighter than what you once believed possible. You are allowed to let your life become easier. You are allowed to let your future become wider. You are allowed to let abundance meet you in new ways. The old financial story does not own you anymore. The old fear does not define your future. The old limitation does not decide how far you can go. You are becoming someone who understands that wealth begins as identity before it becomes reality. And your identity is changing now. You are no longer only trying to survive. You are learning to lead your life. You are learning to trust your decisions. You are learning to move with more certainty. You are learning to allow more support, more income, more opportunities, and more expansion into your reality. And every time you choose a higher thought, a higher standard, a higher direction, your life begins to reorganize around that choice. You are becoming available for more, available for wealth, available for freedom, available for ease, available for the version of life that no longer keeps you small. Your nervous system is learning that abundance can feel safe. Your mind is learning that money can come with peace. Your spirit is learning that freedom can become normal. You do not need to reject wealth to stay grounded. You do not need to fear abundance to stay safe. You do not need to stay limited to stay connected to yourself. You can be wealthy and still be deeply aligned. You can be free and still be grounded. You can receive more and still remain true to yourself. You can build a beautiful life and still carry a soft, clear, powerful energy. This is the new relationship you are forming now. A relationship with money that feels calmer. A relationship with freedom that feels closer. A relationship with abundance that feels natural. A relationship with yourself that feels stronger. Because the more you trust yourself, the more capacity you have to hold more. More money, more responsibility, more attention, more success, more choice, more movement, more life, and you are building that capacity now. You are becoming the version of yourself who does not collapse under expansion. You are becoming the version of yourself who can receive more and stay steady. You are becoming the version of yourself who can make powerful decisions without fear controlling the direction. This is your wealth and freedom era beginning from the inside. The way you think is changing. The way you receive is changing. The way you see money is changing. The way you see your own future is changing. And because of that, your reality is beginning to change too. You may notice new ideas arriving. You may notice stronger desires returning. You may notice that old limits feel less believable. You may notice that your future feels more possible than before. That is not random. That is your identity expanding. That is your energy making space for a new financial reality. That is your spirit remembering that your life can be more than survival. So breathe and allow yourself to step into this new era without guilt. You do not need to explain your desire for freedom. You do not need to defend your desire for wealth. You do not need to make your dreams smaller so they feel acceptable to others. Your life belongs to you. Your future belongs to you. Your energy belongs to you, and you are allowed to build something beautiful with it. You are allowed to become financially free. You are allowed to live in places that inspire you. You are allowed to make choices from desire instead of fear. You are allowed to wake up and feel that your life is truly yours. You are allowed to experience the kind of freedom that changes how you breathe, how you move, how you choose, how you see yourself. That kind of freedom is not too much for you. That kind of wealth is not too much for you. That kind of life is not too much for you. You are growing into it now, step by step, decision by decision, thought by thought. Your life is opening to more. Your energy is aligning with abundance. Your mind is becoming more comfortable with wealth. Your spirit is becoming more connected to freedom. And everything inside you is beginning to understand that you are allowed to have more than survival. You are allowed to have beauty. You are allowed to have ease. You are allowed to have money. You are allowed to have power over your own life. You are allowed to have options. You are allowed to have space. You are allowed to have a future that feels exciting to wake up inside. This is the era where you stop asking whether freedom is possible. and begin becoming the person who creates it. This is the era where you stop seeing money as something outside of you and begin seeing wealth as something your energy can hold. This is the era where your life begins to expand beyond the limits that once felt permanent. You are not trapped. You are transforming. You are not behind. You are building capacity. You are not waiting for permission. You are entering the version of your life where freedom becomes real. So take one final deep breath and let this truth settle into you. You are entering your wealth and freedom era. Money is allowed to support you. Abundance is allowed to find you. Freedom is allowed to become normal for you. Your life is allowed to become bigger, softer, richer, calmer, and more beautiful than it has ever been before. And from this moment forward, you are allowed to move like someone who knows that more is not only possible, more is already becoming part of your reality. If you're ready to stay aligned with this energy, I created a 31-day manifestation journal for you. The link is in the description. Thank you for being here.